I admit, I'm slightly obsessed with eyelines. When I Googled it, I fell into this amazing world of makeup tutorials. So, not eyeliner, eyelines. And I'm losing my mind over how increasingly directors and producers mess this up. We capture people on video primarily because we want to see them talk. We know that that combination of body language, lip reading, and eye movement grabs viewers' attention like nothing else. In film language, eyelines have meaning. And while we talk about how visually literate we're all becoming, we often don't pay enough attention to visual grammar. Screwing up the eyelines on an interview is like trying to have a conversation with someone who's looking in another direction. It just feels weird. When the subject looks into the camera lens, they look into the eyes of the viewer. Hello. Engaging them in that uniquely powerful dynamic called eye contact. So that should only happen when your subject is, in fact, talking directly to viewers. They want the viewer to know something, perhaps to do something, and they want them to hear it directly, no mediation.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
When the subject looks slightly off camera, ostensibly talking to somebody on the side of the camera, the viewer is now listening in on a conversation, and the lack of direct eye contact breaks that intimate connection.
It means we're going to break up the major Wall Street banks that caused the last Great Recession and can do it again.
And allows the viewer some space within which to assess the subject. It's documentary. The viewer is a witness to a conversation. They're not the object of the conversation. The power of the direct gaze is sometimes used for dramatic effect. The subject turns from speaking off camera to turning to camera. It's so powerful, it's called breaking the fourth wall. When the subject is seen from a greater angle away from the camera, or even all the way to the side, the viewer is now disconnected from the interaction with the interviewer and able to examine the subject as an unengaged observer, getting a new, even more detached perspective on their face and body language. So it's bad film grammar, not to mention just weird, to have an off-camera eyeline when the subject is addressing the viewer directly. And even more annoying and confusing is when the eyeline switches within an interview, unless, as I mentioned, for dramatic effect. One thing to consider is that it's often difficult for people to talk extemporaneously directly into the unblinking eye of the camera. That's why teleprompters are often used when the subject needs to deliver anything more than simple, short, or well-memorized material directly to camera. Here's an interesting approach to the eyeline issue. Errol Morris, one of our favorite documentary directors, after making a few films in the conventional off-camera style, wanted his subjects to talk directly to viewers. But he needed to somehow look people in the eye while conducting the interview because that eye contact is so important with the interview subject. In order to maintain that connection with his subjects, he invented the Interrotron, a kind of teleprompter that projects the live image of the interviewer on an angled glass over the lens of the camera. So eyelines matter. Think about whether your subject is talking directly to viewers or being seen talking, as in a documentary, and fix the eyeline accordingly.